Hello everyone. I hope आप लोग अच्छे हो and you people are practicing problems. Let us for now get at this one. And what I said in here, there is one diagram you can see. And in this diagram, we have to calculate tension in strings. And also we have to talk about acceleration of both masses and also both pulleys. ठीक है? So चलो सबसे पहले टेंशन की तरफ चलते हैं. टेंशन कैसे निकालते हैं? सबसे पहले we trace how many strings are there. So let us trace one continuous string first. Let us talk about this string. So this is getting continued without any break. जैसे पेन को ब्रेक नहीं लेना पड़ रहा and it is able to trace this length, right? So this is one single string. Done it? This is one single string. And let's say tension throughout in this string is T because tension will stay same throughout because it is massless. Done it? It is light and inextensible. So let's say tension in this part is T. So here also in this part it will be T. Here also in this part it will be T, and here also in this part it will be T. So tension throughout same. Now one string is left, है ना, ये वाला part. So let's say this is another string and it has tension T dash in it. Now we know that pulley P1 and P2 are light. So if you talk about P1 and if you talk about net force acting on it, it has T force acting. P की बात करें, P is connected with single string, right? So T tension in the upward direction, and downward it is connected with two portion of the string. So tension T and T. And we know that net force acting on it will be zero. क्योंकि net force को आप क्या लिखते हो? Mass into acceleration. So even if there is acceleration, mass is zero, right? And if mass is zero, net force will become zero. So here net force has to be zero, but here it feels like net force is T in the downward direction, right? So it cannot be true. And in that case, what can be the value of T? In order to make it equal. So there is only one possibility, that is we can make tension zero. Because t 2t के बराबर तभी होगा जब t 0 होगा. For any other value, it won't be equal. Done it? So t is 0. Now let us talk about p2 similarly. So p2 की अगर आप बात करो, it has tension t and t acting in the upward direction 2t and in the downward direction t dash. We know that t is 0. So upward force acting on it 0, downward force will also be 0. So t dash also has to be equal to 0. ठीक है? So tension we have got. Now we should try calculating acceleration of both the masses. ठीक है? So let us look carefully what are the forces acting on M1 and M2. So M1 की बात कर लो आप, M1G. Tension in this string is what? It is equal to 0. M2 पे force क्या लग रहा है? M2G. And tension here is what? 0. So it is connected to this system, but still it feels like it is not connected. This string is not able to put any influence on it force-wise. Done it? So if you see here M1 feels like it has only force acting M1G. And it is the case when anything is freely falling. So both M1 and M2 will be under free fall. So they will come down with acceleration G. Done it? So M1 and M2 ka acceleration is sorted, it is G. Now what will be the acceleration of P1 and P2? Done it? So let us trace that. And because if M1 is coming down, M2 is coming down, M1 is directly connected with this body. Done it? So also it needs to go somewhere. P2 also it needs to move, right? So सबसे पहले P2 की बात करते हैं. आप देखो P2 is directly connected with the help of this string to M2, right? So by whatever distance M2 will come down, by the same distance P2 will come down because they are directly connected. Done it? And since a string is inextensible, this length is not going to change. It will stay same. So ये same रहे, इसके लिए जरूरी है whatever acceleration it is coming down, with the same acceleration it should go down. Then only relative acceleration will be 0 and relative separation will stay same. Done है? So P2 का acceleration down में क्या होना चाहिए? G. So P2 का भी acceleration हमें मिल गया. Now P1 is left. P1 को directly हम ऐसा कुछ कर नहीं पा रहे. So let us do one thing. Let us focus on the constraint. So देखो इसी दिन के लिए हमें constraint पढ़ना होता है. ठीक है? Always we should not rely on tricks. So यहाँ पे हम क्या कर सकते हैं? Suppose कर लो. सबसे पहले constraint लिखने के लिए we should choose one reference line जहाँ से हम distance measure कर सकते हैं. ठीक है? So reference line, you will be taking the fixed line. So this is fixed support. So let us treat that as the reference line. जहाँ से we are going to measure the distance. So how we will measuring the distance? देखो, let us talk about this string. Because this is the string with which this pulley P1 is connected. Okay. So let us talk about this string. This string has a constant length. Let's say its length is L0. So whatever motion is happening, this segment will change, this segment will change, this will change such that total length of all this segment will add up to L0, right? So at any time t, let us say let us say m1 is at a distance x1 from here, and let us say p1 is at distance xp1 from here. Okay, and similarly let us say at any instant p2 is at distance xp2. Then इस m2 का distance हम नहीं ले सकते because this is connected with another string, right? It has nothing to do with this length L0 of this string, right? So इसको लिखने की जरूरत नहीं है. We are writing constant for this L0 length of single string. Okay. So अब आप ध्यान से देखो, at any instant what is this segment length? इस segment length की बात करो आप इसकी. So this is equal to x1 minus xp1. x1 minus xp1. Okay. What will be this length? Sorry. What will be this length? I mean, this will be equal to this we have taken as what? This we have taken as xp1, right? From here. So this is xp1. Now what will be this length? This length is taken as xp2. So let's write it xp2. And what will be this length? ये length तुम्हारा क्या होने वाला है? आप ध्यान से देखो. यहाँ से ये length, that is basically your how much? xp2. And what will be? I mean xp2. देखो तुम्हें कंफ्यूज नहीं होना है. यहाँ पे जो स्ट्रिंग ऐसे जा रहा है ना, ये भी xp2 में काउंट होगा, इसलिए ये डिस्टेंस. ठीक है, सेगमेंट का लेंथ ये है. यहाँ से भी ये सेगमेंट का लेंथ आप ऐसे लिख लेना. You don't need to get confused because we need to cover this part of length also. So approximately this is this. Okay. So xp2, and this will be how much? This is I mean this will be equal to xp2, यानी कि यहाँ से लेके ये लेंथ माइनस, जैसे देखो यहाँ पे दिखाती हूँ, ये लेंथ क्या होगा? सो यहाँ से लेकर ये वाला लेंथ माइनस यहाँ से लेकर ये वाला लेंथ. So this length is your xp2 and this length is your xp1. So this will become equal to how much? xp2 minus xp1. And this has to be equal to L0. Sum of all the segments. Okay. अब देखो जो कट हो रहा है उसको आप कट कर लो. x1 plus xp2. So 2xp2 हमें मिल रहा है minus xp1 is equal to L0. Now differentiate on the both side with respect to time. First time अगर differentiate करते हैं, we will be getting v1 minus vp1 is plus 2vp2 is equal to 0. Right? Again differentiate it. A1 minus AP1 plus 2AP2 is equal to 0. P1 we have to calculate. Acceleration of P1, right? So AP1 is equal to A1 plus 2AP2. So AP1 is equal to how much? A1 तुम्हारा क्या है? A1 is G, and AP2 is what? This is also G in the downward direction. So this is 2G. So this is 3G down. Okay. So this is going to be your answer. Question is not complicated. Only thing is you just need to look at the system carefully, and you just need to analyze things from the basic concept of pulley and constraint. Done it? I hope you've understood this part, but if you have any doubt anywhere, you can always let me know in the comment section. Thank you. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.